It arrived on a Tuesday, wrapped in brown paper and tied with a frayed twine string. No return address. No note, just a plain, unmarked box sitting on the porch of the old Victorian house at the end of Willow Street. The house belonged to Clara, a reclusive woman in her late 30s who rarely spoke to anyone in town. She hadn't ordered anything, and the delivery man had vanished by the time she opened the door. The box was cold to the touch, even though the sun was high in the sky. Clara carried it inside, her curiosity outweighing her unease. It was heavier than it looked, and something inside shifted slightly as she set it on the kitchen table. The air around it seemed to hum faintly, a low, almost imperceptible vibration that made her teeth ache. She hesitated before opening it. The twine unraveled easily, and the paper fell away to reveal a wooden box, its surface carved with intricate, swirling patterns that seemed to move when she wasn't looking directly at them. The lid was sealed with a small brass latch, and Clara's fingers trembled as she undid it. Inside, the box was lined with black velvet, and nestled in the center was a single object, a small, ornate key. It was old, tarnished, and oddly warm to the touch. Clara turned it over in her hands, frowning. There was no note, no explanation, just a key in a box. That night, Clara dreamed of a door. It was tall and ancient, its surface covered in the same swirling patterns as the box. The key fit perfectly into the lock, and as she turned it, the door creaked open to reveal a darkness so deep it seemed to swallow the light around it. She woke up gasping, the key clutched tightly in her hand. The dreams continued, each one more vivid than the last. The door grew closer, the darkness within it more tangible. Clara began to hear whispers, faint at first, but growing louder with each passing night. They spoke in a language she didn't understand, but the tone was unmistakable, hungry, impatient. She tried to get rid of the box. She buried it in the backyard, but it was back on her porch the next morning. She threw it into the river, only to find it sitting on her kitchen table when she returned home. The key always found its way back to her, no matter how far she threw it or how deep she hid it. One night, Clara couldn't take it anymore. She took the key and the box and drove to the edge of town, where an old, abandoned house stood crumbling and forgotten. The door in her dreams was there, just as she had seen it. The patterns on its surface matched the box perfectly. Her hands shook as she inserted the key into the lock. The whispers were deafening now, a cacophony of voices urging her to turn the key, to open the door. She hesitated, but the pull was too strong. With a final, trembling breath, she turned the key. The door swung open, and the darkness rushed out to meet her. It was alive, writhing and twisting as it enveloped her. The last thing Clara saw before the darkness consumed her completely was the box, sitting at the threshold of the door, its lid wide open and waiting. The next morning, the box was back on Clara's porch, its surface pristine and unmarked. The key was gone, but the whispers remained, faint and insistent, coming from inside the box. And if you listen closely, they say you can still hear them, calling for the next person to open the door. But beware, once you open the box, there's no going back.